Welcome back to week 2 of Algebra 1 Honors with Mrs. Bibb. We had a successful lesson last week, and I'm here if you need help with any of the work that you're doing. Just reach out to me, I'll be glad to help. Please make sure to fill in your table of contents, title your pages properly. Make sure to complete your warm-up this week, Monday through Friday. Check your answers when you're finished. There's Friday's warm-up. Before you begin, you may want to practice the problems that we did last week. So here's some practice for last week's problems. The answers are in the very back of this PDF, so make sure to check those answers. And then we'll get right into the lesson for today. We actually talked about what's on page 7 for the summer work, but I think some students, it may not have been as clear to them as what I would like, so I wanted to make sure to just go over it again quickly. This is Student Journal 14 from your Student Journal, page 14. If you'll please get that out. When you get it out, if you will please make sure to put the page number up here near your date, and then that way you can have all your pages labeled clearly. These two examples are not on Student Journal page 14, so if you'll please write them in, I'm going to do them with you. Quickly, I want to go through what this says here. Equations don't always have one solution. An equation that is true for all values is what's called an identity, and it has infinitely many solutions. So I said that this summer in a video. If you end up with just a true equation where your variable's gone and it's true, it's going to be true no matter what value you put in for x, then the answer to that problem or the solution is infinitely many solutions, which means no matter what number you would choose, it's going to satisfy that equation. Then if you have a not true statement or false, then the answer is no solution. So let's go through this quickly. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, and it does go away. Some students left x. 3x minus 3x is 0x, and we don't normally write 0x. Instead, we just don't put anything. I'm going to bring down what's left. Negative 7 is left on the left-hand side of the equal sign, and 2 is left on the right-hand side of the equal sign. Is this a true statement or a false statement? Does negative 7 equal 2? That is false. Therefore, there's no solution that will satisfy that equation. That means there's no value that you can choose for x that would make this be a true statement. So no solution for this one. For the second one, I'm going to distribute. I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides, and some of you may notice something there at that step, and I understand if you do. What's left? So we get 0. 4x minus 4x is 0. Negative 6 equals negative 6. Is this a true statement or a false statement? It is true. No matter what value you would substitute in for x, this would happen and be true every time. And this is infinitely many solutions. Now this doesn't occur all the time. It really probably doesn't occur that often, but it's good to know and remember that if you do not have one solution, then you'll either have none or infinitely many. Okay, so let's look. We'll do some examples together quickly. This is Student Journal page 16, and I know I kind of pick and choose from those pages, so on the other areas of your Student Journal you won't have things filled in. We're going to start with number 7 and we're going to solve. I always move my variable. I usually move my variable on the right to the left. 3a minus 3a goes away. 6a minus 3a is 3a. Bring down minus 4 and bring down 5. Add 4 to both sides. 3a equals 9. Divide by 3. A is 3. Specifically, the answer is 3. So this one would neither be no solution or infinitely many. It has one solution. That solution is 3. Okay, let's look at this next one. Distribute 8b minus 12 equals 12b minus 28. I'm going to move the smaller b to the bigger b. Negative 12 will equal 4b minus 28. I have to move this 28. Negative 12 plus 28 is 16. And now I truly apologize. My iPad ran out of storage space partway through this last video, so the remaining example problems are completed already, but I'll go through them with you and answer any questions that you may have. So my video stopped on number 8. Now I have 9, 10, and the next page to do. If you will pause the video and complete these two problems, and then make sure you get the correct answer, and if you need any assistance, feel free to message me anytime. The next problems that we did were on Student Journal, page 16, or the next problems that I did were on Student Journal 16. I solved all of these equations. I distributed on number 11 on both sides, number 12 on one side. I subtracted 24 from both sides. Please notice 24s minus 24s goes away, it's canceled. So I was left with 72 equals negative 112. Is this a true statement or a false statement? This is a false statement. Therefore, that means my answer is no solution. Let's look at number 12. I distributed the 8. This is 24. I caught a mistake. That's good. I subtracted 16f from both sides, so I'm left with 24 equals 24, and look at that. I'm so glad this happened. Is this a true statement or a false statement? Well, now that I've distributed correctly, it is a true statement, and that means that there's infinitely many solutions to this problem. Now, what in the world does that mean? That means no matter what value you may choose to substitute in for f, you will always end up with a true statement like 24 equals 24. For the last two, I distributed 1/2 and 1/3. Students usually don't have trouble multiplying by 1/2. You're taking half of 10 and half of 12. But sometimes students struggle with multiplying by 1/3 or just multiplying fractions in general. Remember, when you're multiplying fractions, you put a 1 under the problem or the expression that does not have a fraction in it, and you just multiply numerator and numerator and denominator, and you simplify. 15n divided by 3 is 5n. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Then you solve it, and I solved it, and I got n equals 0. A lot of times students will say this one's no solution because they got 0, but it is okay for n to be 0. Now, if you'll notice for 14, oh, and by the way, that's one solution here. For 14, 2/3 times 6j, I put a 1 under my j. 2 times 6j is 12j. 3 times 1 is 3. So 12j divided by 3 is 4j. 2/3 times 9, I did not write that out, but I can. 2/3 times 9 over 1. 2 times 9 is 18. 3 times 1 is 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. And I brought down my 3j plus 7. I subtracted 3j from both sides. 4j minus 3j is 1j. Plus 6 equals 7. I subtracted 6 from both sides. Y equals 1. Oh, not y, j. J equals 1. And because there is one solution, that's what the answer is, one solution. Okay, so if you'll complete your practice for the week, if you will complete your warm-up for the week, make sure to check it as well, and then we will have an assessment at the end of the week. Have a wonderful day.